everyone. It is a fabulous Friday, and we are here in the very comfort of our COVID free homes and our places where we rest and we rule and we abide. And we are here for an amazing show on tonight. First of all, let me thank Channel 52, Farah, and Anam. Thank you so much for this great opportunity to host a show with some phenomenal women who serve throughout the county of Passaic. We have 4 women that will be talking in regards to a topic called plans, process, and promotions. Plans, process, and promotion. So many times we make plans that we think is going to happen overnight, but then we get to a place where we understand that it takes a process for the plan to happen, but then the promotion is when the plan actually manifests. So from the time it's spoken, it's thought of, it's dreamed about, those are some great plans, right? But then the next step is, how long will it take for me to get there? What do I have to do to achieve my goals? How do I get through this process? Because I know at the end of it, there is definitely a promotion. So I am super excited. I want to ask all of you, as you're coming on, I will be giving, these instructions throughout the course of the night. Please, everyone, I want you, as you're coming on, I want you to be able to go on to my page or to go on to Channel 52. And as you're on the page, if you have questions, please type them in. So as you're typing them in, we're able to ask the panelists your questions. So at this time, we're going to welcome on to this amazing panel. We have Commissioner Amber Huck. We have Luisa Nunez. We have Commissioner-elect Nadia, and we have Jasmine Kennedy. Let's clap it up for our amazing guests on tonight. Let's clap it up for our amazing guests. I know we have Nadia, and she's coming back on very shortly. And so we'll start. I want them to go into giving out some brief introductions as to who they are, because as much as I'm excited about who they are, I know all of them and I think they're doing amazing work. I want them to take the time to introduce themselves. So we'll start in this order. Commissioner Amber, we'll go with Jasmine, and then Luisa, and then Commissioner-elect Nadia when she comes back on, in that order.
Okay. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Lisa, and I'm so honored to be on the show with you. You yourself and is an amazing woman doing so many things in such a perfect way. So I am the first South Asian commissioner in the city of Patterson, Muslim as well, and I'm very proud of introducing my ethnicity from Bangladesh and Pakistan. And actually, I was raised in Saudi Arabia. So I have so many different ethnicity, and I grew up with my grandma. That's why I take so much from all these different women who have made me what I am today. I'm a proud mom of my daughter. She herself is the first South Asian girl represented in United States Navy ROTC. So that's another pride for me. And I'm an educationalist working I also reside and work in Patterson, the melting pot. And with the community, I'm working with different communities because I can speak 6 different languages. So that's where I think that I can serve the community in the better way, because I can think, process, and plan in different languages and put pieces together. And, with the grace of God, so I'm very thankful for that. That is because we grew up in different countries with different relatives, and we were able to pick it up as we were growing up. I have worked in residential site, and that's where I loved the nurturing piece for our residential site kids who are left without parents. So I have a special feelings towards challenging kids and challenging situations. I'm a Nurtured Heart advanced trainer as well. And I'm here to serve the community.
Thank you. Jasmine.
Hi, thank you, Commissioner. That was an awesome introduction. Thank you to Councilwoman Luisa Mims, Dr. Luisa Mims, who invited me to be on this panel with such awesome women. My name is Jasmine Kennedy. I am an educator. I've been an educator since 2012 for the city of Paterson. I am a graduate of Delaware State University. I graduated in 2012. I then later on received a job at school number 6 in the heart and city of Paterson, the awesome city of Paterson. From there, I matriculated and I completed my master's degree at St. Peter's University in 2015. I am currently enrolled in my doctoral program in January 19th exactly. I start my very last doctoral class. So I'm very, very excited about that. And then I'll be finishing my dissertation and I'll be Dr. Jasmine Kennedy before the end of 2021. So I'm very excited about that. Just some things that I know brought me back to Paterson, being that I was in Delaware. I was encouraged to stay there and I was encouraged to add to their education system. And since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to become an educator. I knew that I had so many plans, so many things that I was, wanted to do with my life. But it just involved being back in Paterson. And at first, a lot of people couldn't understand, like, you have a great job here. You have all these things. They want to give you all these things for free. Why are you not staying here? But my heart and my passion is with students in education in Paterson. So I'm just excited to be on this panelist. I'm excited to share some of the plans and hear some of the plans that the other young ladies on this broadcast and this panel is going to discuss. I'm excited to hear about what processes you guys are thinking of, and I'm excited to hear about the promotions that came from the awesome planning that you ladies have done and are continuing to do. Again, I'm excited about being here. Thank you, Channel 52. You're amazing, and keep doing great work, Commissioner. Keep doing great work, Councilwoman Dr. Luisa Mims, because the city of Paterson is truly, truly grateful, and I'm sure everybody on this panel can agree with me that you're doing an awesome job. So thank you for having me.
Thank you to our entrepreneur, Ms. Luisa Nunez.
Hello, hello, everybody. Those that are watching, and this amazing panel. Thank you so much, Dr. Louisa Means, for the invitation. It means so much to me, and I love the diversity. It's different cultures and different. We all come from a different, culture, right? Well, my name is Luisa Nunez. I am an entrepreneur. I am the CEO and founder of AMC Accounting Professionals. I came to this country from Dominican Republic when I was 13 years old. I finished high school here, and then I was, in the financial industry. I was doing mortgages. I got my real estate license, and then, I was also going to college. So I was making good money, but I stopped going to college. But then when the market crashed, 2008, around there, real estate wasn't that great. So I just decided to go back to college and get my degree in accounting, just to have that backup, right? So after that, I just been doing accounting ever since 2010 when I got my bachelor's from Berkeley College. And, I did 10 years in corporate America, which I'm so grateful that, I had that opportunity because now I work for so many, companies and so many industries that now I can apply all that knowledge to what I do on my own. And, so it's been great. It's amazing. It took me a while to make the decision to just leave corporate America and self doubts and a lot of stuff in your head. And then I just took a leap of faith and I just did it. And it's been great. Now I just ask myself, why didn't I make that decision before? But yeah, so it's been a great journey, and it's life, and I'm just loving it and just doing the best that I can every day.
Thank you. You're doing a phenomenal job. And so we have our newly elected school board commissioner in Bloomingdale, Miss Nadia, to give a brief introduction. Nadia? Give us a minute as she's coming on. So for everyone that is watching, please hit the share button. It's going to be a phenomenal discussion on tonight. So please hit the share button. As Nadia is coming back on, we'll allow her when she comes in. I think she's coming on now. Okay.
Hi everyone. Sorry, is it lagging? I'm having technical.
If you want to get to a secure spot, Nadia, that's fine. You can log back on when you can. That's fine. We'll keep it flowing, and then when you can get to a secure location, we'll bring you on. Okay. Okay. She'll come back on. So here is I think it's always good to do an icebreaker question before we get started. And so my question to all of you, when I say the word purpose, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Starting in the same order, Commissioner Amber, then Jasmine, then Luisa. When I say purpose, what thought, if there's a quote, what comes to your mind when you hear the word purpose?
Help others.
Well, to me, purpose, I think it's already planned and picked, assigned by God. As humans, we take some time to recognize it, but it's already assigned to us. So I think to me it comes as assigned already.
When I hear the word purpose, I think of something that was designed and created. I think of something that, is already written out and we're just literally walking it out. So I think it's already done, it's already made. And I think it's pretty much designed by God.
Purpose. It's such a broad, and it's hard for you to pinpoint what that is. I think that you find it as you go, and sometimes we feel pressure to find it, and you just have to enjoy the process and just go with it. But for me, it has to do with helping others, just kind of doing what makes you happy, and that will lead you to what that is for you, what that means for you, not what it means for anybody out there.
Right. I love all of that because tonight's topic is plans, process, and promotion. And all of that is in correlation to purpose, right? Because when you think of the plans, when you think of the process to get through get through these plans that are outlined, and then to get to purpose or to promotion, which is the end place, it all goes to what is, as Louisa said, it's for you, right? We can think of someone else's purpose. We can think another word for purpose. I think of our goals, right? But we can think about other people and what we do for them. But the bottom line always is, what is your purpose? What is your destiny? What is mapped out for your life? What is it helping others? Is it school? Is it family? Is it community? Is it whatever it is? But it goes back to you. So our first topic, we'll talk about plans. There's a quote that says, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I want to ask all of you in the same order, what are some of your short-term and long-term goals?
Okay, so my short-term goals are, specifically because I am back in school and I'm doing a fellowship. I finished one in Montclair State, and I have joined the Advanced Early Child Education Mental Health Fellowship, the second part. So I consider that as a short-term goal because that's related with my education and my professional development. But there's a purpose to it. Again, it's leading to a bigger picture because I have always been an educationalist. I do want to serve in the community, specifically the community where we are living in, Patterson. I do want to serve, in education. I am planning next year to hoping to, run for board of election and see where that takes me. So that's my plan.
Thank you. That was great. Jasmine?
So my short-term goal, the first short-term goal I have is to finish my doctoral degree, and many may say that's a long-term goal because of the process of sometimes 4 to 6 years of actually doing it. But I've been already in the process of completing it since 2018. So it is a short-term goal, but as the commissioner said, it's something that leads to a long-term goal because my long-term goal is to be, I want to say it, but I'm like, but it is to be hopefully one day the Secretary of Education, but even before that, a superintendent of schools. Another, short-term and long-term goal is to devise and design my own elementary, high school, and middle school in urban area, as well as I want to actually start building small preschool Christian academies within the city of Patterson and within surrounding cities that may have similar demographics to be considered an urban education area. And some of the reasons why I've chose those short-term and long-term goals is because sometimes we see, we see the lack of equality in schools. We see the lack of equity in schools and equity in education. And coming from being a student that matriculated through Patterson Public Schools and then going on and going into Delaware State and then coming back to teach in Patterson schools, I, heard terms where, oh, you're from Patterson, nothing good comes from Patterson. You don't know much because you're from Patterson. But I am a living testament. My short-term goal and long-term goal is to be a living testament to every student and every child in the city of Patterson. If I can do it, you can do it. So my short-term goal just includes being motivational, sharing with as many students and children and youth as possible in the city that I can touch, and even the ones that I may not be able to touch, the ones that I touch, they can touch them. So those are just some of the plans that I have, short and long term.
Luisa?
Wow, Jasmine, that was powerful. I love that. You want to show others what you could do. But for me, well, I always keep a list. I don't have it with me. I would have shown it to you if I was at the house. I still at the office. But I always keep like a list, and I just go like crossing, whatever I get done. But for me, short term is to basically grow my network, right? Your network is your net worth. So I am building, a tribe, the entrepreneurs that we can all help each other and collaborate with each other. That is so important to me because it comes from my soul. It's something that I, my desire. And long term will be just teaching others, what I have learned, teaching others how to, how to open their own business, how they can also do whatever others are doing. If others are doing it, they can do it too. So it's important for me, especially, the Latino community. I come from a very poor, family in Dominican Republic. So I know there's so many out there that needs that inspiration and motivation, and there's so many things that we could do. There's so many resources out there, so many tools that you can, just basically tap in and be successful or do whatever you want to do in life.
I love that. And, I will be taking that quote. Your net worth is your net worth. Did you hear that? That is powerful. We have to make sure we scroll that on the screen. Your network is your net worth. So many powerful points. I mean, just amazing. Your short term and long term goals. I like the fact that you said you got to write them down. I like the fact that they're thought out. It's methodical. Now, what happens, right? We have amazing plans, amazing plans. We want to get them done. We're writing them down. We're crossing them off. In our minds, we're saying it. We're telling our close friends, our close family. But from the paper, from the thought to the paper to the schooling and all that stuff, what are some of the things that happens as soon as you vocalize, this is something I want to get done? Let's talk about the process, right? Because there is a painful process that happens to get us to the end goal, right? It's like a runner. We trained ourselves, we've exercised, we've done all this stuff, we've got conditions, but we didn't realize that it was going to be 5 laps, right? We thought it would be 3 laps, 4 laps. We didn't know that the person beside us was going to be a competition. They were trying to knock us out of the lane and all types of stuff. We didn't know that we thought we lost enough pounds and we didn't lose enough, and we really need to exercise a little more. So let's talk about process. All these great plans, let's talk about the process to get there. Let's go the other way. Luisa first, and then Jasmine, and then Commissioner Amber.
Whew, well, the process is a long process, but I tell you something. Everything I have thought out in my mind, I have done it. And sometimes I just sit on my own. I meditate a lot, and I'm like, the tears just start coming down because I realize that everything that I have put my mind into has come to fruition. So, I have long-term goals. So I say to myself, you're putting in the work. So why it's not, it's gonna happen because you're putting in the work. Look everything you have done. Um, for example, I always wanted to work, like I used to watch the movies where people would be in the trains reading the newspaper. I always wanted to do that. I said one day I want to work in Wall Street, and I want to like get on the train and read the newspaper. And it happened. 2016, I got a job in New York. I stopped because of the commute, but I did it, and it's something that our mind is powerful. And yes, it's going to be a long, long road. It's not going to be easy, but I think you just have to keep the faith, and you have to keep telling yourself that it's going to happen, that you can do it, and you're going to get there. I think that we are powerful, and yes, we can do it.
I love that, sitting on the train and reading the newspaper. I would have probably memorialized the paper. I would have framed it. My first paper, riding the train to Wall Street. That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Jasmine.
So we know that with every plan, there comes some hiccups, right? We know that even if you're driving down the smoothest road, there's always going to be some sort of potholes there, right? There's going to be something there to teach you a lesson. What I love that Luisa said is that, everything she planned out, she got done. And I'm sure that every woman on this panel has that testimony of everything that I had planned, or I wrote down, or I devised, that I got done. But in the beginning of the word testimony is the word test. And the word test, the reason why we're tested is because once we come out of the test, it's supposed to make us stronger. It's supposed to prepare us for the next phase. It's supposed to prepare us for the promotion, right? So I believe that we have things that come up. It may be, family issues. It may be distractions in relationships. It may be conflict. It may be, the crab in the barrel mentality, where, we have people around us that want us to be successful, and then we have other people around us who want to keep us stuck, right? We have, I'm just thinking about my process, people being naysayers. backfires and making you believe that you're not strong and powerful enough to get to where you know your purpose is, right? And one thing I love about the word purpose, and it's something I said purpose was something that was created or designed, but purpose is something that I believe to be embedded, right? There's a word that links purpose for me, and that word is called culture. And we use it in the educational field. We say climate and culture. And climate is how something feels, but culture is something that's taught and it's embedded. And I believe that when it's something becomes when something is your purpose, it's something that's embedded, right? And it's even embedded where you don't understand why you feel that way. Why do I need to help people? Why do I need to read the newspaper on this train on my way to Wall Street, right? But once we get in, we start walking out and we start encountering tests in the midst of our testimony and process in the midst of our plans, we start to begin to, like, it's like a blossoming flower where our purpose begins to unfold and unravel, and we begin to walk into promotion. So I believe that every time you're in a process, there are going to be hiccups, there are going to be mess ups, there are going to be slip ups, there are going to be situations, there are going to be potholes, there are going to be lessons, there's going to be things that we have to learn, but it's all in the process of getting us prepared for the promotion. So you can never step into a promotion if you haven't been prepared. The worst feeling in the world is to get somewhere and, like, one thing my mom taught me was the worst thing in the world is to get somewhere and you're dressed inappropriately because you weren't prepared for the people you're getting ready to sit at the table. So when you get ready to sit at that table, you want to make sure that in your process that you take the time to be processed so that in the process, when you get to promotion, you're prepared for it. So I'm grateful. I'm happy about the plans that I made, but I'm even happier when it's time to process before the promotion, because that processing is what strengthens you. That processing is what gives you the knowledge and the wisdom. That processing is what prepares you. That processing is what propels you. That processing is what gives you and enlightens you about your purpose. The processing is the best part of planning, and it's the best part of before your promotion. And it's even the best part of the promotion, because even in the promotion, you're still processing.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop there so I can let everybody else talk. I'm sorry, I get excited when I talk about things, the trials and tribulations of life that come to carve and chip away that are not going to get us ready for the next place where our purpose lies. So thank you for letting me share.
So Amber, before you answer, I just want to and then Nadia, once we come to you, Commissioner Nadia, the question before everyone is the question on, first of all, we make a whole bunch of plans, short-term, long-term plans, and they're amazing. We're going to ask you the same question. And then the second question was, although we have all these plans, what has happened in the process? Because we get excited, right? So say you're married and you say, my plan is to have a baby, but it's a 9-month process, 3 trimesters, wearing nice, cute clothes, going to the point where you can't sleep. You're doing the waddle, as we call it, right? At the end. So when we get to you, Commissioner Nadia, the question, you'll get 2 opportunities. First, introduce yourself so everybody know who you are. The second thing is to talk about some of your short-term and long-term goals. And then the third thing is to talk about the process that it takes to get to all of your goals. Okay? So Commissioner Amber and then Commissioner Nadia.
So Luisa, I actually thank you for your, you talked about meditation, the calmness I already see in you. And, that's very important in the process. And Jasmine, what can I say about you, girl? You have so much energy. You have fired me up. The credit goes to your mother, who has trained you in such a well way, and made you in such a nice, processed brain woman. I have to say that. So in the terms of process, I think that as women, we really need to have plan B as well. We think of whatever we're gonna do, and what if it doesn't work out whatever I want. I usually try to see that I picture myself doing my plan, and process is gonna happen within that. And then plan B if it doesn't work out. In the meantime, things are gonna go wrong. As Jasmine said, we are mothers, and nothing goes according to the plan. It will always go wrong. There will be processes happening where people is going to be discouraging you, and situations will be happening. So we need to keep that in mind. The other thing is that we always talk about, positive energy and not paying attention to negative energy. I actually tend to take some note from negative energy, because people who make negative comments about you, that can help me progress and make something better about myself. So I actually tend to pay attention. If somebody made a negative comment, what is the message that person is giving me? And I actually thank them that, thank you for that person. You giving me that message. I was able to make it better. Just like Councilwoman said, that in the process, you don't know who was your competitive. It could be your friend standing next to you, and you don't know that that person has become your competition. So there's a lot to learn, and negative energy, take it. The other thing is that keep aiming higher. You will fail, but keep aiming higher. Don't aim low, because if you're gonna make your aim low, you are gonna go lower. Because it's always the case. As moms, our plan changes, and keep keep God around you, because if we have God in our heart, He will never gonna disappoint us. And as I said, negative energy is actually not negative. Take the message from there. And I actually love all of you women that you're bringing that energy already on the panel. And Nadia,
I love it.
Congratulations. I'm so sorry. I'm just so excited to see her. If I could hold her from the screen.
Yeah, so let's congratulate Commissioner-elect for the school board in Bloomingdale. We're clapping it up. When one of us win, we all win. So we celebrate this newly elected phenomenal woman who I have followed for a very, very long time. Commissioner Nadia, introduce yourself to everyone. The world is watching, and let us talk about some of your goals and the process to get there.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And again, sorry for the technical difficulties. Apparently you really cannot do StreamYard on a phone. So I really appreciate everybody's patience with that. And thank you all for the loving, warm welcome, and also for just the support. When I said I was going to run, Councilwoman Mims, you were right there supporting me. Amber is like a big sister to me. And Jasmine and Luisa, I hope that I'm so excited to meet you all through this and meet some other powerful women doing powerful work. My name is Smita Nadia Hussain. I do go by Nadia. I'm, as everybody mentioned and clapped for me, which is so nice and really humbling. I just won my election for Board of Education here in Bloomingdale, New Jersey, which is about 20 minutes from Patterson, but I am in Upper Passaic County. Right. I am the first person of color, I believe, to run for office and let alone win office in my town of Bloomingdale and its 100 years of existence. And I'm also, with this win, I am the first Bangladeshi American woman to serve on a board of education here in the state of New Jersey. And this election, thank you so much. With not just the support of other powerful women and communities I've worked with for so long, I will say that, I also was a top vote getter in my entire town. And as a first-time candidate, and Dr. Mims, you've run for office, you've been in so many different of these positions and campaigns. That is, I'm truly honored that was a result that I got from this hard work, from door knocking and reaching out to people. But outside of that new role I have, I'm also the co-founder of the Bangladeshi American Women's Development Initiative. It is an initiative working to empower Bangladeshi women and girls here in New Jersey. Although we do a lot of our work in Patterson and in the Passaic County area, we do service the whole state. Amber is one of our wonderful board members. And I also serve on the board of the American Civil Liberties Union of New Jersey, as well as the National American Civil Liberties Union. It's one of the largest, if not the largest, civil rights organization in the country, the preeminent civil rights organization in the country. And I also I also am a mom. So Lalisa, you, Councilwoman Mims, you mentioned about, waddling and, having a baby. I just had a baby. My baby is 8 months. He just turned 8 months old. So, giving birth during a pandemic is an experience unto itself, and also running for office with a new baby is an experience unto itself. And so that's a little bit about me, a little bit about my background. I myself have not immigrated to this country, but I am second generation. My parents immigrated from Bangladesh in 1984, and I was born pretty quickly upon their arrival here. So that cross-cultural experience and their immigration journey and their struggles and their triumphs and this kind of cross-cultural upbringing is very much a very foundational part of my life that I carry to this day with me. And those values are values that I carry. And when you talk about process and the process and results and goals that we set for ourselves, my goal right now, being a newly elected official, is to learn as much as I can to really serve my community in this very brand new capacity, right? This is a very new experience for me. I have worked as an advocacy. I have worked on policy for a very long time, but being an elected official carries a new set of responsibilities and experiences. And I'm honored to have that experience, but I'm also ready to roll my sleeves up and get to work and really serve my community. So my short-term goal right now is to join our board in January, learn as much as I can, be the best board member I can, and really help our Board of Education be the best they can to really support education in our town. Long-term goals is I really want to be part of this movement that I think all of you on this panel and so many watching are part of, a movement to ensure that our country, the United States of America, our state, our town, our city can be the best that it can be for everybody, not just for a select few, not just for an elite that for too long has kept the doors closed for women that look like us and people and communities that have our experiences, right? We're all part of this incredible tapestry of this country, but it's about time that that's actually reflected in who makes the decisions, whose voices are heard, who's seen on the TV screen, right? We have a lot of work to do. And so my long-term goal is that we own that space, right? We don't ask for permission to own those spaces. We don't have to always knock on the doors and say, can you please let me in? The door is ours, the space is ours. And when it comes to the process, I always say, this is my personal, my kind of personal mantra is expect the best, but prepare for the worst. And maybe that sounds a little emo. I am a little emo, honestly. I don't know if that just comes from being, a child of the 90s, but I always say that even the best prepared picnic, like what is that, the Outcast song, so you can plan a picnic, but you can't predict the weather. That's life. You can't. My mayor here in Bloomingdale, who was an incredible mentor, suddenly passed away 2 weeks ago. I'm devastated by that. But I realized that I have to carry on and live up to the ideal that he also worked on, right? And you have to kind of keep going. And I think so many of our women like us, we've seen the barriers. Our stories are one of perseverance. And it's just so important for us to not just persevere, but thrive. And I do believe it's good to be prepared. It's good to have a plan, but you have to also have some flexibility because you have to roll with the punches. That's how life works. And for women of color, especially, daughters of immigrants, there can be some more barriers in our way that are just structurally there, but those are not stone walls, right? We can chip at those walls. And another thing that's very important, is a few of us spoke about what kind of, either is meditation or what really helps us stay connected and drive through. And for me, that is community, that's network, that is the people that support me. I am a village. I don't come here. This is not Nadia coming to Board of Education because I myself did this. I did it through votes from my constituents. I did this through support from the people who love me. I did this from people who believe in me, right? Who I've worked with over the years, advocating for so many things together. And the fruits of that love come from what you give. So it's about giving, but it's also about receiving. And for me, what grounds me, what keeps me going is this support network, this community, this village where we move with love over everything else.
Wow, that is so powerful. I know you're all on my social media pages, so I'm just letting you know in advance that a lot of your quotes, I am writing them and they will be posted on my page. I will give you credit for them, but there is so many great nuggets that are being such pearls of wisdom. Own that space, right? I heard that, own that space. I'm not just going in the space. I'm going to own that space. That is powerful. Expect the best, but prepare for the worst, right? So many different powerful nuggets about what happens when these opportunities are coming. You make all these plans, life has hiccups, things go wrong, things go to the left, but all of that is a part of getting to the finale of the goals that have been preset, making sure that you keep your base structured, making sure you keep your support system intact. All of you represent elected positions, appointed positions, education, and then entrepreneurship. So before we get to the final point, when I say Shirley Chisholm has a quote, it is one of my favorite. My favorite. She's like, in my mind, she could have been my auntie, right? In my mind. And she says a quote like this. She says, when there's no seats at the table, I bring my own folding chair. And so it's been my mantra, a seat at the table. And for me as a woman, right, a woman of color, a single mom, 4 kids, grandchildren, for me in life, starting off, when I first got to a table, I didn't really understand the power of having a seat there. I saw people sitting at the table. I had many times where the doors were shut, where I was not even able to be in the room. But even when I got in the room, there was no chair for me. And I really didn't understand and didn't even comprehend Shirley Chisholm at the time. But as I grew older, as I began to get mentors and a good support system, I began to understand the importance of the words, a seat at the table. So I want to ask all of you, and I'm going to start with Nadia, then we'll go to Louisa, we'll go to Amber, and then we'll go to Jasmine last. When you hear a seat at the table, or just think in your own perspective as a woman doing great and phenomenal things, what does that mean to you, a seat at the table?
Well, when I believe it was Frederick Douglass that has another quote. You know, you spoke of the incredible Shirley Chisholm, who's also a legend who I look up to. Frederick Douglass said something akin to, power is never voluntarily given, right? It has to be taken. And I believe that sentiment is very true. People don't just give their seat for the good. I'll be very honest, in politics and any kind of power, in business, whatever have you, with money, people just don't just say, hey, here's my seat, have fun. Power does not yield their power. That is not every major shift, historical shift that we have seen in our world, whether it be a revolution, even the American Revolution, whether it be the ending of apartheid in South Africa, whether it be the civil rights movement, right? It was not just politely handed over. Okay, a demand was made. A demand was not just made, but it was consistently put forth until it came to a point where that demand could no longer be ignored. And so when I think of a seat at the table, I'm like, well, who else is at the table? Who created the table? Was this table meant for me? Was it made to include everybody? And part of me says, I don't really care if it was or not, because, you know, I remember when I was a little younger, there was a quote saying that you can't be what you can't see. And when sometimes on the surface, that quote sounded good, that, okay, well, that means we want to see that representation. But if we can't be what we can't see, then how are we going to be the first, right? So instead I say, be what you want to see. And that's what, even whether it was starting Bowdy with Tanya Chaudhary, my co-founder, and then having this incredible board of women, there was not that kind of an entity connecting Bangladeshi women and girls, right? The struggle that my family went through, there was not something there to support us, to give us those resources, right? When I was growing up. And so we can't always wait for someone else to do it for us. I think none of us are like that. I think all of us are the trailblazers and pioneers that we wanted to see. And I think, you know, as I grew older, I realized something, that I can't keep waiting for a hero to show up, a superhero to show up and save the day. You know, sometimes when you're younger, you think that maybe the adults know what they're doing, or someone's going to fix this. And when you get there and you realize there are actually no adults in charge, we're all just making this up as we go along. These rules, some of these very entrenched rules are rudimentary. It's a type of brainwashing. So you know what? I just realized that, wow, I'm here and no one's going to do it for me. I have to do it myself. But what's also important is even if you do it yourself, what can you do to ensure you bring your sisters with you? You bring your community with you. Because if it's just you on council, or you in the one person in Congress, or you being that magical woman of color who gets everything done, well, guess what? You're going to be the only magical woman of color that gets everything done. You're going to have to get it done for the LGBTQ community, and you're going to have to get it done for the immigrant community, and you're going to have, because you're going to be the token for everything. I don't want to be a token. I want to be a movement, right?
Yes.
And Nadia, wants to be a movement, but I want to be part of a movement. And the only way we can do that is if I no longer am the first Bangladeshi woman to be on a board of ed. I'm one of many. There's a long line. The Shirley Chisholm wasn't one of the only Black women in Congress. She's a long and proud line of Black women serving in these different positions.
Oh my God. Here, just a point, because we're going to go to the next person. But your quotes, I'm going to say this, Nadia. You after tonight, you go back and listen to yourself. You need to start on your page, your quotes, put in your face with your quotes next to them. They are like, I can't even write them. I'm going to have to go back later on, but you should on your page have your face with your quote. And I'm telling you, so many people's lives will be transformed just by nuggets. You're saying them, and it's an open dialogue and it's transient, but I want you to go back and do that, because I'm telling you, it's going to take your social media pages to somewhere beyond our imagination. All right. Who was next? Amber or Louisa? I'm not sure, but who's next?
I think it's Louisa, but
okay. Oh my goodness, Nadia, that was so amazing. I mean, I think she said everything I would say, but in all the words. But for me, it's how Nadia said something that we can. We have to be our own heroes, right? And we have to look for opportunities. We cannot depend on no one. We have the tools, we have the resources out there, and we can just go after them because we can do it. And it's basically about looking for the opportunity, right? The opportunity that you want. And if there's no seat on the table, just bring your own seat, right? So I mean, it's just all about you have to be your own hero. Nobody's going to do it for you, and you have to make your own decisions, no matter how hard they are. You have to basically just make your own decisions. So I think that Nadia,
that was
she
powerful.
just said I really
We
don't have
may
any
have to
sounds
do a part two. You ladies are so phenomenal. These responses, be your own hero, look for opportunities. Louise, I'm going to do the same advice. You take the nugget, put it on your page with your face there, sitting on the train, newspaper.
I love it.
I see it. Commissioner Amber?
yeah. So Nadia, you know how much I love you, but what you're talking is the power. But the power is not alone. That's the part that I love about her, because we've been, board members for quite some time. The thing that you said, I want to be a movement. I'm not just by myself. And I think that's, as women, can become our weakness, that we just sometimes just do that. Oh, I'm the one alone who's going to do things. This is where we are wrong. We have to be supporting each other. So no seat on the table. That is a place where I need to make noise, where I have to come and prove myself. I'm not gonna wait. We cannot wait for people to hold hands for us. And at the same time, if we are going through, what path are we making for the people behind us, for generation behind us? It's not only about us. It's about what we are teaching our people and our kids behind us. So I absolutely agree with Nadia on this, that, and together we can do. As women, we are natural nurturers, and we can make generations. We do make generations. This is extremely important for us to do this in this way.
Yes. Jasmine.
The hardest thing is going after all of you ladies. So I just want to let you know that. Awesome responses, ladies. Something that, again, piggybacking off of Nadia, something that she talked about was, having a seat at the table and, bringing others to the table, identifying what table am I at, who's at the table with me, what table does this, what do the people at the table service, how do they service me? But I want us as women, right? Because something that I learned as a child was that your foundation starts where your previous generation left off. So if your mom had her master's degree in engineering, right? Your foundation started off where she left off. And there has been, like Nadia said, and like Luisa said, and like Commissioner Amber has said, there has been so many amazing women that have had seats at the table. There's been so many amazing women that have brought seats to the table. I want to challenge us to not only get a seat at the table, but to start creating some seats at tables to bring others on, because that's something that we haven't done. We haven't, reached out and pulled on our sister. We haven't, we love being the first, but you should be training up someone to take your spot, because we have to ensure that when we get a seat at the table, that we are saving or preparing the next person for that seat. Because if we prepare the person for that seat, we know that that seat is going to be well taken care of. The person, it has been planned for it. The person has been processed for it. So when they get into the seat, that they're already there they're already there to make the changes. Another thing that I want us to do is, it's awesome to bring a seat to the table, right? Or have a seat at the table. But the best feeling in the world is when you own the table. And, a lot of people, there's nothing for me to bring up a chair, but how would it feel for me to own that table where I get to select the people that sit at the table? And for a long time, women, minority women, right? We've been in a place where, we've been, okay, just stay in the house, don't you cook and clean and do these things. But when it comes to this, I want you to stay out of it. When it comes to politics, I want you to stay out of it. When it comes to speaking on platforms, I want you to stay out of it. Even in Christianity, when it comes to preaching and teaching, I want you to stay out of it, right? Because that's a man's job, right? But one thing that I'm learning today is I'm learning that we are so powerful. And there's a quote that says, beside every good man, there's a good woman, or an even better woman, right? And beside every good man is an amazing woman, right? And we are the ones, we construct the table. I'm sorry, but I feel like we are constructing tables right now in today's day and age. We are creating chairs. We are creating platforms. We are changing legislature. We are making room for the next generation. And guess what? I believe that everybody on this panel is going to prepare a table so that we can ensure that women blaze trails in the years and generations to come. It is time out for us not bringing up our sisters and placing them into seats that amongst tables that we sit at. It's time out for us not coaching and training up people that should come after us. That's what happens. We have people that are so powerful and so amazing, right? And what they do is they hold on and they grasp on and they hold on to their process without sharing their process. And then people that are walking in the same purpose, because I believe that there's purpose, we're purpose carriers, right? But I believe that there are other people that have similar purposes. It may not be the same as yours, but it may be similar. But your process and what you go through can help them in their purpose to get to the table. So the question, and something that I want to pose to the ladies that's on this panel, is, are you sharing your process so that when you get to the table, and that when people that you're around at the table, are you prepared for where you are? Are you prepared for where you're about to be? Have you been truly processed? And are you ready to own the table? Because I'm tired of bringing a chair to the table. I'm tired of sitting at table that other people own, because they dictate. When you own a table, you dictate what's talked about. You dictate what comes across it. You dictate who sits there. You dictate what's being force-fed. You dictate the information that's being shared. But when you own the table, you are the sole proprietor. You are the sole orchestrator of everything that goes on. I am tired of us being somewhere where we're just sitting and being there to look on. I'm ready to take charge. I'm ready to take charge. I'm ready for us to take charge. I'm ready for us to create. I'm ready for us to design. I'm ready for us to execute. And I'm ready for us to get where we are, get where we need to be. Because there are so many tables that are waiting for us to take ownership of. There's so many tables.
Who's ready for the table? Both hands up. Both hands up. Ready for the table. I was like, yes, I'm ready for the table. Let me go buy some tables. So I'm telling you, like your nuggets, I'm trying to type them out. Just powerful, powerful. A seat at the table is more than. I was typing something yesterday in the celebration of my son graduating, and I said our words have to be more. What we say has to be more than a sprint of words. It has to be a marathon of victories. I'm going to say that again. What you say has to be more than a sprint of words. It has to be a marathon of victories. Because when you are speaking, people are hearing. It is penetrating hearts. It is moving things. It is shaking things. It is rattling things. At the table, owning the table, out the door, in the building, owning the building, getting the property, getting the land, and constructing it. The words that you speak, not just women, men are watching us too, but when you speak, don't let it just be a sprint of words. Let it be a marathon of victories. I think I'm gonna quote that in my next book. But that came to me yesterday, and it was like, yes, like I don't want it to just sprint for a moment and then you don't hear of it again. Let it be a marathon of victories. And every word you're speaking tonight, I believe, are marathon of victories. We're going to hear it again. People are going to watch it. They're going to listen to it. And it's not just going to help today. It's going to help in years and decades from now. They are going to remember these powerful words that were spoken by these amazing women from Passaic County. Here we talked about plan. We talked about process. And then our last point, my bishop says something like this. He said, you can't skip a step. And when we talk about skipping a step, it means, I'm trying to get somewhere, but I don't want to go through the process. I'm trying to be this. Like I think Nadia said it. She said, well, I had a great support system. I didn't just get there by myself. Luisa said, I remember wanting to work in Wall Street and I took the train. It was a process. I worked on Wall Street and I got to that newspaper, but it was a long journey of taking the train. Amber is like, school board, I'm coming for you, school board. I'm coming for the school board. And Jasmine, she talked about from the very beginning, she's in her doctoral program. She's on her last class in the program, but you can't skip a step. As much as these are great things you want to do, seat at the table, owning the table, being the voice, and all these great things, at the end of the day, you can't skip a step. You all talked about the steps it took. Some are mothers, some are aunties, sisters, and all that, educators, elected officials, appointed, business women. And so now the plan has been thought about, it's been written out. Now the process, the cries, the sleepless nights, knocking on doors, all of these things. I mean, so many things. But here is the day of reward. It is the day of promotion. It's like campaign night is over and you're like, oh, I can't wait. They haven't counted up all the votes, but now it is now certified. It is here. Everything that I have thought about, everything I have dreamed about, everything that I did not think I would accomplish it because I am the first in my family to do it. I'm the first in my lineage to do it. I'm the first from my community to do it. But now the day is here. You are now at promotion day. How do you seize the moment? Let's start with Luisa, Nadia, Jasmine, and then Amber.
Okay, so the big day is here, right? I think that after when you start to plan, when you have your goals, you go through a lot. And like, everyone in this panel said, it's a process, but it's part of the journey. You learn through it, and this basically, this is going to help you once you get to that moment. So I mean, it's something that it's going to make you, feel like, wow, accomplished. And then you can kind of help others to get there as well. And I think one of the biggest satisfaction, that I get in my life is helping others, especially, women. I love working with, entrepreneurs and women that are doing big things for themselves. I think that we deserve it all. We're here, and you can, whatever dream you want, you can accomplish just because you are a woman. That doesn't make you any less. And it's just enjoy the process. And it's a big, once you get to that moment, it's going to be amazing.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Luisa, especially about being in service of others, right? And that's always so powerful. I say, once you get to the promotion, first you should just, party, then celebrate yourself, celebrate your win, and promote your win. Talk about what you did, talk about it to everybody, because let me tell you, there are some basic men who promote themselves constantly. Even if they didn't win anything, even if they lost, they'll still promote themselves as they want, right? So I say, us women, don't be shy. Now, my mom always taught me that you need to be, she would say, Nadia, you need to sober down. Nadia, you need to sober down. You kind of like live your life like a female elephant. That's just, she told me in Bangla. She said, you're a hostini, which means female has elephant. Because I'm always knocking stuff down, being all loud. You're hearing me, honk my horn. Well, you know what? Like, honking my horn has gotten me as far as I've gotten today. And I love my mom, but I say, don't be silent, don't be quiet, because, we need to, I always say, who's going to toot your horn if you don't toot your own horn? So you got there, you got that promotion, you got that victory, you won that race, toot that horn. It is not the time to be humble. I'm sorry. We are too humble. Women are taught to be too humble. Like, oh, you have to be graceful and humble. Well, some like crazy loudmouth men are just like, oh, like, I'm like, why? Like, you're bragging, nothing to brag about. And like, I actually did something. Like, we actually did something. Okay. So everybody, I give you, you don't need permission, but I implore you to be your biggest cheerleader, and then be the biggest cheerleader of your sisters. When you see your sisters doing, and now Amber, you're so good with this. Lisa, you're also good with this. And I know Jasmine and Luisa, I can tell that you're the same way. Promote each other's victories. And let me tell you, this is my personal thing. And it could be me growing up, facing some of the struggles that I saw my family face, right? Trying to get that American dream and never making it. They didn't make it. I am their American dream, right? But they didn't get the picket fence and the nice car and the 2-story house. That was not what they got. But whenever even I say celebrate, but don't stop fighting. And that's how I am. I'm like, I never put my shield down. I never put my sword down. I can celebrate. I'm going to say my accomplishments far and wide, okay? But I know I'm going to get up the next day and keep working. So keep working, keep fighting, celebrate, bask in your joy, because sometimes there's too often not enough joy, especially through some of this national, international trauma, generational trauma we're going through right now. But find your joy, because joy is essential to keep going.
Oh, I love that. Invite me to the party. I'm coming. Invite me to the party. I'm coming. Jasmine?
I was just going to say that. I was saying party, party, party. And the reason I say party, and I'm sure me and Nadia are thinking similarly. I mean, the process is sometimes can be treacherous, right? I mean, the promoting, the campaigning, the back and forth, the financial reports, the knocking door to door, the getting people having meetings, all of that, entrepreneurship, reaching out to business partners, creating business plans for us, education, me and Ms. Amber. It could be, going to school, studying, reaching out to people, trying to get indoors, trying to get in places, trying to get seats at tables, right? Those are the process pieces that are like we talked about, being trials and crying, and we're, it's taking a lot of our strength and our energy. So when you get to that place of promotion, party, celebrate. I am one of those people too, Nadia. My mom never said the elephant, but I'm sure she thought it, but I'm one of those people too. You're going to hear about my victory, okay? Because some victories are sweatless and some victories are sweaty, right? And even the sweatless victories you need to share, but those sweaty victories are things that I feel that they cause you to have pivotal turns in life. And when you get to that place of a sweaty victory, everybody, if I could stand on the top of Mount Rushmore and shout out to everybody across the nation that I've done something amazing and I'm getting ready to bring someone with me, that's what I want to do. I also think that after you have the place of promotion, roll up your sleeves, because in the place of promotion, there is still processing. There is still somewhere else. When people say promotion, they think that that's the end result. Promotion to me is not the end result. Promotion to me just means there's more work to do. There's more places for me to go. Now, for the fulfillment of promise and the fulfillment of purpose means the end result. But promotion just means this is the next step to get to my next place. But there's work that I have to do in that next step to get me to my next place. So here I am again with this sweaty victory. Now rolling up my sleeves, because here's another process coming to get me ready for another sweaty or sweatless victory, right? So celebrate, get ready to work. And then the last thing I always say is write it down. Sometimes writing a book, right? Getting a blog, vlogging, right? Sharing it with somebody, calling up one of your best girlfriends that she loves to talk and have her share it, right? Or him share it, right? So, getting that out there, because your victories and your perseverance help someone else in their place of processing that may be wanting to give up. A lot of people give up in their processing. A lot of people throw in the towel in their processing. But it could be your very moments of processing that you've completed, right? In your place of promotion, you can bring someone out of their place of processing. So celebrate, shout it to the Himalayas, but don't forget that even though you're in a place of being promoted, there's more processing that is necessary, because you're not at purpose. When you're at purpose, that means everything's done. But when you're in promotion, there's more processing, because there's a greater expected end. So, so keep that in mind. I'm still being processed, so there's still more work to do, right? Even when I finish my doctorate, oh, don't get me wrong, Mom, I want to let you know I'm not going back to school. However, there's still more processing, because there's still more things that I have to learn. There's someone that said that we are lifetime learners. So every time you go through something, you're learning. You die learning, right? So every time you go through a promotion, there's always something greater that's waiting for you before your expected end. So if I can encourage you ladies to do anything, celebrate, but roll up your sleeves, because there's a process that comes even during the promotion.
Wow, amazing panel. From Luisa's to serving others, Nadia, you have to tell me when the party is, because I have to be the first one there. And Jasmine, your energy, what can I say? I know it's coming from your mom, but processing and writing it down. I have a quote of Princess Diana. She was a princess when she did not accept the throne, and the people of Britain said that she was the princess from the people of the heart, and they accepted her, they loved her. So she wrote, one of her quotes were that when you are happy, you can forgive a great deal. So I know during the processing, we go through a lot as mothers, and we see real faces of many people, backstabbers and other things, and when you become successful and when you're happy, then the same people all of a sudden switch and they say, congratulations, I'm on your side. But, as humans, when you are bitter and you're angry, you do want to do stuff. But I think when we are happy, it's easier to forgive. And it's important to remember that, because there is so much energy and power in forgiveness. When you forgive somebody, you're opening another door for them to come and work with you, and there's another network starting there. So I think it heals that process. Again, it's processing. I think processing never stop. Even if somebody dies in that frame of death, I actually in our Muslim faith, when somebody dies, we do a cleaning and washing the body part, and I'm the Amira who does that. And I have seen that there's so much healing and processing through that time period. So I do tell the mothers and daughters and whoever has lost their loved one that you have to come and go through that, because that is a healing. But we just are so scared of that. Again, that's a processing. And forgiveness and celebrating and happiness, and be humans and be loved ones and love it and enjoy life, because life, God has put each and every one of us wherever we are for a very special reason. And today, us meeting, those reason has multiplied and 5 times more.
I agree. And 5 wonderful ways and beautiful ways, I must say. There are a couple questions from our viewers. We're being viewed all over the world, and we have 2 questions. The first question is this. The question is, how do you, with all of the great things that you have accomplished, how do you balance that with your own personal lives, your families? What are some things that you, or words of encouragement you can give to people on how to balance success with personal and just you time? Because sometimes we say success with all the stuff we do and then family, but then we leave ourselves out. So how do you balance? We'll start with Luisa, Amber, Jasmine, and then Nadia.
You just do it. Like, to me, before I would, listen to a lot of books, read books, balance life, try to balance it out. But at the end of the day, I think it's up to you, right? It's your journey. So it's not nobody else's, right? So I think it's just, you just have to do it, everything that comes with it. And you just figure it out, just take it day by day. And yeah, I don't try to balance it out anymore. I just wake up, and I do what I have to do, even though I'm tired, even though I'm feeling sick, because when you are your own boss, you don't have sick days. You don't have, you cannot call out. So you have to go to work because you have to pay bills. So yeah, you just have to figure it out and do what works for you, and just go with it and just do what you have to do. But of course, to add to that, I do have my own self-care days, which is Sundays. But then again, like, I wake up early, I meditate, I do yoga. So those are my me moments. And I think that's what makes my day even brighter, because I take that time for myself. So, I guess that's just a way for me to balance it out. But at the end of the day, I don't really have an intention, because I don't think there's, any balance. You just have to do what's best for you and what works for you.
Okay, so when it comes to me, I think, you have to be real to yourself. It's your life, and enough of faking, because you're going to be doing it. Plan things for yourself, have calendars, or even, so there are some people who are really good at, they can put in their minds, I'm going to do this first and second and third. Planning does help. The other thing is that things are going to fail. So when they are going to fail, you need to have people that you can talk to and be real. And if you need to cry, cry. We are humans. It feels so much lighter after crying that, I feel much better, even if it's not going to resolve anything, but you have someone who you can talk to and have someone you can trust, like a good friend or sister or, whoever that, and then your brain gets clearer, because things are going to happen in life. The last most important thing that you need to know yourself, to take care of yourself, something that you like, something that which really, you can enjoy. It might be a cup of tea that you will have and it's the next 3 minutes, but give that time to yourself. Sit down. That 3 minutes, you're not doing anything. You're giving that time to yourself because you are important to yourself. If you're not going to take care of yourself, you cannot do nothing for anyone. In the aircraft, when the oxygen level drops down, and if a mom is sitting with a child, she has to, take the oxygen herself first to help her child. She would not be able to save him if she's not going to save herself first. So we have to self-care ourselves. We have to love ourselves. Then we can distribute it. You cannot be such a great person if you don't love yourself and you're bitter inside.
Awesome. I would say, like Luisa said, just do it. I do believe I personally keep a planner. I don't want to say I'm fortunate, but right now I don't have any children. I am courting, hopefully, to one day get married and then start a family. So, I don't have that dynamic of role in my life, responsibility in my life. So I have a little bit more freedom in that area. But the me time is very, very important because I do work like 3 jobs. I am doing my doctoral studies. I am writing a dissertation, and, helping my mom and things like that, as well as trying to fit time in for me. And I agree with what Commissioner Amber said, that it is truly, truly important to have that self-care moment, because if you're not good for yourself, you can't be good for others. And I think that, even in those self-care moments, it gives us time to process what we've been through and what we're going through and where we're going to. So I do believe that, balancing is simply on you. It's how you balance. It's how you decide you do things. Some people are planners. Some people, they know that they might procrastinate a little bit. So, they have to write things down or set an alarm in their clock or, whatever. But I think you need to find what works best for you, and you need to use that to make it work for you.
Sorry, I'm yelling at my husband to bring me my Mac cord before my computer dies. But listen, I'm a mom of a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And Amber, I'm sure you remember when, sorry, I'm plugging it in? Sorry. What it was like with younger children. And I don't think me time exists as a mother unless I'm like, literally hiding in my car. I do want to bring up one quick point is that, sometimes me time and is a privilege. It really is, even if you can make it for yourself. So many, especially women in our communities, in a time of COVID, right? Like we're in this time, even outside of COVID, they don't have a moment. They're working 3 jobs. They're raising their kids. Maybe they're a single mom. Dr. Nunez, you mentioned, I'm sure there's been many moments where me time was just not going to happen, and maybe now you're giving yourself that time back, reclaiming that time, right? And I want to recognize that because me time is a privilege, and it's an honor to have if you're able to have it. So many moms may never have it. They're hustling constantly to survive, and so when I think of things like me time and taking care of ourselves, I also think about what can I do so that more moms and so more women and so more people in our community somehow find that are able to have that time for themselves. And if you have a job that pays enough, if you have enough wages, if you have paid sick days, if you have affordable childcare, you're going to have more me time. And our society makes it right now where it's impossible to have those things, especially if you're a woman of color. So in a way, even doing the work that I do, which is constant, that fills my cup constantly, right? Because I'm always, I know that as a society, we have so much further to go to make it so all of us can have the time to nourish ourselves, right? And not always be struggling as an uphill battle. My mom never got a manicure. My mom never got a massage. She never took herself to a spa. She would always tell me, she's like, I didn't even buy myself new socks, So, and I'm like, every Christmas, I'm like, Mom, I bought you socks, here's your socks. And we took her for a massage and she's like, I don't want anybody touching me, So, but for me, even with the privilege of having that me time and understanding that it can often be a privilege, I did get a massage, but because of what's happening again with COVID, I decided to cancel mine for now. Having, conversations with friends, hiding out in my car and talking to my best friend for an hour. My like, where are you? Weren't you getting milk? Or weren't you getting? I'm like, yeah, I'm hiding in the car. Talking for an hour with my best friend, right? Because she's been my best friend since I've been in eighth grade, and I think that's also important sometimes to the people that don't. How do I say this? The people that can't do anything for you. They can't get you in a political position. They're not going to get you that raise. They're not going to get you that promotion. They're not a network that's going to get you somewhere. They're just someone that loves you. That's just your friend. That can be dorky with you. For me, that time, I'd be letting my hair down. And now maybe I can't see them, but even on the phone or a Zoom call, that is nourishing for me. And that is my me time. And that's living out a relationship that doesn't do anything for me politically. It doesn't do anything for me network-wise. It just does something for my soul.
That is so. I mean, every point very well stated. I'm a mom, right? Single mom of 4 kids. My oldest, my daughter Jasmine, she's my oldest. She's 30. I have from 30 down to 17, he'll be 18 in December. But the things that when they were younger. Balance, I don't know what that word meant, Nadia. I understand. I didn't, because I was working 60, sometimes 70 hours, and more traveling all the place. And then I had the kids, but thank God for a good support system. So now I go to the gym, but that's another moment I can have with my daughter because she's a workout buff, right? She's working out all the time. So I take moments where it was like, oh, I'm going to just work out when I can. And, take the laundry and do the laundry. That's my workout. She goes and actually works out. She walks, she does stuff. So it forced me, and it's not just exercise, but it gives me that time with her. She's my only daughter. I have 3 boys. So it gives me my time. So each of them, or my oldest son sometimes, can you take me to work? Can you pick me up? And as much as it becomes exhausting, I take the moment because I remember the moments when I needed a ride, or the times when we caught the bus and it was kind of normal at that time. We caught buses and got in the cab and didn't think of anything of it. And now there's Uber and so many things. So balance depends on the dynamic of your home, right? Married, single, kids, smaller kids, middle, stuff like that. Like my baby, he's 17, still my baby, but he can call Uber Eats or DoorDash. Like, I see the door opening. I'm like, what did you order now? He has a job, so he orders stuff. So I don't have to cook like I used to cook when at that time. Once in a while I'll do it. My daughter has all of them spoiled, but it's just so different. So it's like you have to force yourself to take moments for yourself. I do the same thing, Nadia. I sit in my car. My neighbors used to knock on my window like, are you okay? But it was just time to get away from everything else. Because I knew once I put the key in the door and went in, I was starting another assignment. I don't want to say a job, but it was another assignment. So I was like, I got to take a moment for myself. Maybe I need to go to McDonald's, get an ice cream cone, go to the park for like 15 minutes just to unwind and to flush out everything I encountered in life. And so here's a question. It says, women in developed first countries in the world or Europe can think of their tables easily as they enjoy the freedom and access to the resources since childhood. But women from least developed or third world countries cannot think easily to own a table. This is because of social and cultural taboo, practices, or particular opinions. What is your suggestion for these women or individuals that have these type of barriers or restrictions on the power in being able to own a table? And we can start in any order, whoever wants to go first.
I'm going to take the first one because we're talking about women from third world countries or restricted society. I have an example of Malala. Malala couldn't do it in her country. She had to come to Britain and take that, power of saying that, give me the pen to, speak the knowledge. So we have to think of the women which are in that particular situation. I'm going to take an example of women in Afghanistan or in Pakistan or in Bangladesh or India, which when they are from a very restricted society and that right of you speaking is not given to you. So it's very hard for them to be able to come up and say that, or ask for any right. So small steps can be taken because we have to be mindful of their situation. We cannot just, talk about rights and things because we are talking from a different place. So we have to be in their situation, in their shoe, and give our, guidance through their way. We don't have to be judgmental. In my fellowship, I have seen a woman crossing the border of Mexico. She had 3 kids with her, a very infant of 3 months. To cross the border, the daughter is 11 years old. There was a trade made that she would be raped or they would throw the child, which is a 3 months old. So at that time, that mother had to make that tough decision that don't touch my 11-year-old daughter. I'm going to offer myself to you. So maybe morally it looked like that she did something wrong, but to me, she didn't. She saved her daughter. She saved her 3-month-old child. As a mother, she made a very difficult decision. And then she was in therapy with us. And it took such a long time for us to convince her that you did not do anything wrong. You did the right thing and you are safer now. So it is very hard to say when people are in that certain situation, what they have to go through. We have to be non-judgmental and we have to be understanding of their situations.
One thing I wanted to really bring up is, what is one thing that a lot of developing, or when we say third world or developing nations, have in common? What many of them have in common is that they were colonized. Now, many of these, there's this mythology that is put out that the face of countries you're seeing now is just like how they are. Culturally, that's how they are. Those men are more those men are more oppressive. Those countries are more oppressive. They've just been oppressive. That is not a true narrative. Because when we look at, for example, Latin America, so many mothers, especially, right? Like everybody, but like men and women, but mothers coming with their children. Why are they coming here? What caused them to come here? Why is Afghanistan? Why did Malala, why was she unable to do what she needed to do in Afghanistan? Afghanistan just about in the 20th century was a very progressive society, but then the Russians got involved and there were wars, and and again it's this onset of colonialism. When you look at Africa, Africa's not even a country; it's the biggest continent, right? It's one of the biggest continents. That we just see these images, right? Of what is Africa, and but there are so many women with PhDs coming out of Africa. There were matriarchal societies in Africa, in our own United States. A lot of these Native American communities were matriarchal Native American communities, which meant the woman was in charge. When there was a marriage, they came to the women's family, not the men's family. So I think there needs to be a context that so many of our societies that we consider now as developing were made that way by Western and colonization intervention, okay, and also disseminated by disease and war and broken treaties, right? So that is there. Now, what about now? When you look at the situations now, I will tell you that a lot of these situations were manufactured. They didn't need to be that way. That there were prospering societies where women were kings, kings and queens, and that was normal. That wasn't weird. So, as the societies were engineered to be the way they are now because of the fallouts of colonialism that we see today, what advice do I have? Well, some advice I have is we need to leave these countries alone. These interventions that we have done in Central America and South America and Latin America have directly led to what we're seeing today. And then we're yelling at people for being here undocumented, right? Completely taking out all of the context. We need to stop thinking that, not you and I on this call, but I think this intervention system of swooping in, fixing the problem, and you know what, democracy has to work for you. Well, maybe democracy doesn't work everywhere, okay? Maybe how about letting places that have existed before colonization try to figure out their own thing, right? There is power in tradition. There is power in culture, right? And for women who are in the current situations there, I do hope that with the internet, and even some countries shut down internet, right? But there are still ways to get access to information. For example, in the Horn of Africa, I was part of this magazine, right? That was delivered to women in different Muslim women in African countries. My poem was about, it was called Mother May I. And some parts of that Horn of Africa in those sections did not have internet, but they were able to literally get this magazine, right? And it was, I believe it was Somalia, where my poem got so much of a response, right? Because literacy, access to the written word, media, right? There's powerful ways to break through. So I feel like, unfortunately, if you're in a country right now where you've been in a manufactured situation thinking that you're less powerful and because you're in a developed country, I say that's a false narrative. That with a will, with access to education, and indigenous sources of power, not Western forces coming in and trying to give aid. That is not how that works. They don't need aid. Okay. What they need is like us to basically maybe reparations, give back what we took so that they can rebuild the country like they see fit. I think that would actually work in a global sense, but in the personal sense, that access to literacy, investment in women's education, and women somehow reaching out to each other to cross-pollinate and cross-share information and ideas can happen today, even with the barriers we see.
Wow, that's powerful. Who's next? Jasmine, I see Jasmine ready.
I completely agree with Nadia. It's honestly the lack of knowledge, because all the information is there. But we also have to keep in mind that we're culture. And I kind of touched on it earlier when I talked about purpose, but culture means it's something that is embedded, it's something that was taught. And it's kind of like an intrinsic behavior. It's something that is a learned behavior. And coming from those countries where in those countries they were taught that women are silenced, women are not in leadership roles, women in education is not the right thing to do. There are some people that are in the opposite situation where there are resources available, but they believe personally that, okay, you know what, that's not my feat to get into that, because I was raised that my job is to do this, or my position or my place is here. My advice for people or women in other countries that have that feeling is, I pray for the generations to come that they break through those barriers and that cultural cultural restriction to believe that their place is to be scoured, or to be in a place of not receiving or not being out and abroad and in education or in politics or wherever there is, or they might want to be. And honestly, there are some generations that we can't, because they've been so conditioned, that's the word. They've been so conditioned in their culture, it's very hard to break a conditioned culture. But it's easy to go to the next generation and pull up or uproot the culture that was embedded in the last generation. Something in the Christian world, we call that generational curses, right? So a generational curse can be broken through a lineage of that generation. So I believe, in my mind, or my plan or my strategy would be to, okay, let me focus on the younger women that are coming up in this culture before that are coming up in this whatever group or third world country it is. Let me focus and give the resources to that younger woman, because even though she's learning, she's in the process of learning, it's not embedded yet. So now I'm expanding her, I'm giving her the resources and the pertinent information on how, being a powerful woman is not such a bad thing, and how being a powerful woman, it's a great thing, actually. But you're giving her those resources for her to be successful. Sometimes I feel like we get so stuck in the mantra of, we want to change the world, right? That, there was something that I learned. The Bible says that Jesus left the 99 to chase after the one. And sometimes we get so caught up on the crowd of people that we can't change that we miss out on the one person that we can. And I believe that, we need to, the resources are out there, technology is out there, education is out there, word of mouth is out there, us spreading it, us connecting, us collaborating, all that is out there. But it takes one of us to reach out or to show in that cultural perspective, right? Being in from a culture like I think Nadia said, she's the first person, from her culture or from her ethnic group to become a school board member. That's powerful, because now you are breaking the curse of women not feeling like maybe they didn't think that they can be there. Whatever their mindset is, you now are the one to break that generational curse, because now I guarantee you, now that you've run, and now that you've won, not saying that this is all you'll do, but now that you ran and now that you've won, I guarantee you that now it's going to open the doors for women that may have been watching you, or women that may have been shy or pressed down because they might have wanted to do it, but they didn't have that force, or that, they didn't think they could. But because you've done it, you now open the door of opportunity for them to walk right through. And that's what I think we need to do. Open the doors of opportunity so that people have the advantage to see that just walk right through. It's open for you now.
Powerful. Luisa?
Pam. I mean, you guys have been amazing. I don't know what to say. I mean, I totally agree with Nadia, right? I come from culture where, the woman just stays at home and, cooking, taking care of the kids, they're silent, right? And they don't really have aspirations. They don't know what that is. They don't know, what's out there, and they're happy. They are happy because they don't know any better. So, I'm just hope that with this whole, social media and internet, that, they can get the information they need and kind of just just break this cycle and break the curse, as Jasmine said, because yes, we are, they are conditioned. And, I sometimes I ask myself, my mother, for example, um, I feel bad sometimes because I see her and I'm like, wow, she didn't have any aspirations in life, or like, she just cooked the whole time. She was just a stay-at-home mom, cooking for us, doing everything for us, and she never did anything for herself. And I feel bad. So, but she's happy. She's been happy, and she's been like that her whole life. She's been conditioned to be that way. So yeah, we just have to leave them alone, and hopefully they can find information through social media and just kind of find their way.
And I
And make their
absolutely
own,
agree.
basically.
And I want to say, put a pin in this. You can't own a table that you don't think you deserve. You cannot own a table that you don't think you deserve. It comes from knowing your worth. When you don't know who you are, when you can't identify with the power and the purpose and the potential that you have, you will never see a table. You will only see a stool. You will only see sticks. You will only see wood. So you have to begin to think outside of your normal capacity of thinking and tap into the potential with what's inside of you. And then you begin to say, I'm going to sit at the table. No, first, I'm going to go in the room. When I get in the room, I'm going to sit down. When I sit down from that place, I'm going to make sure I sit at the table. I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. I'm going to build. I'm going to develop. And then you go into a place of ownership. I've been able to travel all throughout the world. And I remember I saw the Feed the America commercials or infomercials. And, it shows these stories of so much deprivation and so much need. But I remember going to Africa my very first time and just watching some of the things that we are so spoiled in America with. And I went there with this mindset of the feed America, right? But in where we were staying, they had butlers and they had maids, and it was just, it was well to do. But then there were other areas that were in that place. And I was a female, which was uncommon for a woman to be in leadership. to be in that particular area. And this guy broke the barrier and allowed me to come and allowed me to do these women gatherings and women power talks to change the mind. That was his purpose. I want you to come from America to change the mind of these women that they can do better. And it's called Breaking Through the Glass Ceiling. And I think all of you have done that in your various roles. Nadia, as the newly elected, soon to be sworn in January 1st, Bangladesh American woman in the entire state of New Jersey. That is just phenomenal. Amber is the first Bangladesh woman to be appointed as a commissioner. Luisa, entrepreneur, business owner, real estate broker, Wall Street, everything. She's just doing phenomenal stuff. Jasmine is an educator in the Patterson School District. She's a supervisor now. She started off as a teacher in school, about to get her doctorate, has all types of certification, principal cert, and the list goes on and on. And all of you, I believe, are millennials. I believe you all fall, I think, in the millennial. When you were talking, I said, I think I'm talking to millennials. Maybe I could be in the millennial club as an ex officio member. But I just want to commend all of you for the amazing work that you do in the pocket of your own success, but in the platform for others to succeed. I'm going to say that again. In the pocket of your own success, but in the platform which allows others to succeed. So we're going to do a round table. We're coming to a close. I want to thank you. Let me thank Channel 52 once again for this awesome platform on tonight. Farah, Anam, thank you so much for allowing me to host this show on plans, process, and promotions with the phenomenal guests that we have on tonight. I'm going to call each of them one by one by name, and I want them to give their final thoughts to the viewing audience. And then we're going to close out for tonight. So let's start with Amber. Let's go to Luisa. Let's go to Nadia, and then we'll end with Jasmine.
Okay, I'm again, thank you so much for Channel 52, to Councilwoman, Dr. Luisa Mims, for bringing me again another opportunity. My message is, I'm going to take a quote from Mother Teresa, and she used to say that if you judge people, you have no time to love them. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow we have not seen. And what we can do today is the main thing. So, don't waste your time in nitpicking negativity. We don't know what tomorrow is there, and life is short. So love yourself. We are mothers, we are sisters, we are daughters. We're born to nurture and love, and, take it from there. Life is difficult. It's not bed of roses, but we can make it better. And at the same time, as we are healing others around us, because we have to make our path easier for us. If I am making it easier with them, then they're going to be nicer to me. And we have to help everyone around us. And know yourself too. It is extremely important. Stop faking. It does not help. We have to be honest to ourselves. It really, if a community service is not talking to me, then I have to do something else. I don't have to follow somebody else. We have to be real. We have to be honest to ourselves. Thank you again, Nick.
Okay, my message, that was beautiful, Amber. My message, well, first of all, thank you to Dr. Luisa Mims for thinking of me. It's such an honor to be surrounded by smart, beautiful women. But I think that we have to, if you have a dream, or if you have, anything that you want to do, that you can do it, and it's possible. That stop basically listening to that little voice in your head, judging yourself, and just plan and enjoy the process. Sometimes there are good days and bad days, and sometimes we take the bad days as something that is bad, and we feel like something is wrong with us. No, that's part of being human. So just be happy that you're breathing and that you have, food, that you have a home, and just take it as it is, because sometimes like our minds just make up all these stories and we think that we're wrong, right? No, that's part of the process. That's part of who you are. And you're thinking those thoughts because you're human. So let's not try to be perfect because no one is perfect, and everything comes with you know good days and bad days. So just go out there, go after what was that thing that you want to do.
Thank you, Dr. Mims, also for including me in this incredible panel with these groundbreaking, pioneering women doing incredible work and also being so authentic to themselves, which I think is in itself very powerful. I always say this might sound hokey, but I think it's actually always really important to have hope. And sometimes you're not always going to feel hopeful. Having hope doesn't mean that you're hopeful all the time. You're always positive and you think it's going to happen. But and I will say there's been times when I feel like I've lost hope, right? And it felt hokey to me to just think of that. But I think that there's something to be said about vision, about having a vision, whether it be for yourself, for society, for wherever, even if you're in the darkest of places, right? Having some kind of vision to work toward, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be something so high and far away, or it can be an audacious vision, right? And I did a presentation yesterday to a group of Girl Scouts about civic engagement. And one thing I said is, look around us. If there's a street lamp outside your house, somebody planned that street lamp. Someone designed it. Somebody decided it's going to be there. Someone in zoning decided that it's going to be there. Somebody invented electricity. I mean, if we just even take a moment to look around us, even if our room is a mess, right? That who invented paper? This house, where did this house came from? Who designed my street? Like who is deciding these things, right? Who's deciding if I get electricity, right? Like why are my taxes so high? Whatever. Like it's being decided by somebody, right? I think it's so important to educate yourself about how these decisions are being made, because education, whether it's formal or informal, can never be taken from you. That is one thing that is immaterial. Once you are educated, you will always have it. And when it comes, and that's one thing, but the other thing is also every single thing we see around us, from electricity to our home, to our street, to our country, somebody envisioned something somewhere for it to happen. Listen, not that long ago, okay, we were living in caves, all of us. So all of our ancestors were in caves with spears at some point, right? But through vision, we are where we are today. Everything is literally a miracle, right? Even if it's a tough time, it is still a miracle. The fact that there's COVID, and look how quickly a vaccine, I mean, we still have time to see what that looks like and how that can be rolled out. Maybe yes, there'll be disparities. It won't be perfect, but that humans have come this far to even discover something that quickly, right? So never distrust your own ingenuity. Be bold with your visions, even if it seems silly. Let it be silly, and you will be surprised that visions can come true, because they have, and they will. So keep envisioning, keep having hope, even if that hope doesn't always feel perfect. Be involved and educate yourself the best way you can with real facts, real information. We know there's a lot of there's fake things out there, but we need to educate ourselves, because no one can take education away from you.
Yes, thank you, Jasmine.
Absolutely. Again, thank you, Councilwoman Dr. Luisa M, for having me sit with such awesome women. And thank you, Channel 52, for having us for this panel discussion on tonight. So I just want to keep it short and simple, because these ladies pretty much summed up everything. We talked about planning. We talked about making sure we write it down. We have these short-term and long-term goals. We talked about process, that is necessary. There's always going to be adversity before there's advancement. There's always going to be persecution before there's promotion. There's always going to be trials before there's triumph. And there's always going to be purpose. There always is a purpose to your promotion, and there's a purpose to your plan, and there's a purpose to your pain. So remember, everything that happens in the midst of your process is only for your promotion, so you can be processed again to get to purpose. So again, I just want to thank all the awesome panelists. I'm so excited to get to know you guys. I'm going to stay in contact. because you guys were amazing. But always remember, if you don't remember anything I personally said tonight, just remember that even when you get to promotion, there's still going to be some processing. And even after that, there's going to be processing. And even after that, there's going to be processing, because there is a purpose, and you must get to purpose, and you must be prepared when you get to purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, so much for a spectacular show. It was phenomenal, and it would not have been phenomenal without each and every one of you. You women rock. You're doing amazing work. I follow all of you. Thank you for being some powerful women on the cusp, trailblazers, breaking ceilings, and doing phenomenal work. When one woman wins, we all win. There's a quote, it says, when one woman stands up for herself, she's standing up for a whole bunch of women that have not even thought about standing up or saying anything. So thank you for standing up. Once again, thank you to Channel 52. And thank you to all of our viewers. You've been amazing as well. Thank you for giving the questions, and thank you for sharing on tonight. God bless you all. May you have an amazing week. And don't forget plans, process, and promotion. You can't skip a step. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.